Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Today, I would like to present about the relevancy of the United Nations. United Nations is a well-known organization that helps its state members in various aspects of governing their state. UN also will facilitate other states in improving their international relationships with other state members. This shows that the UN is still relevant in this globalized world, even though it faces many challenging obstacles to execute their role towards the state members in the organization. The first function of United Nations that shows that they are still relevant in this current globalized world is they serve peaceful ways of settling dispute. The principal aim of the UN is to maintain peace and security between the states. Preventing war from happening is the priority of the UN in settling disputes. By settling disputes through peaceful ways, it will create stronger bonding between dispute parties. This action is based on the UN Charter of Article 2, Bracket 3 that stated all state members shall settle their international dispute in such a manner to prevent endangering global peace and security. Many ways are being implemented by the UN in solving disputes between state members, such as negotiation, mediation, conciliation, inquiry, arbitration, and judicial settlement. The ways to settle dispute in peaceful ways can be divided into two categories: judicial and non-judicial settlement. Next, we move to United Nations' second function, intervention in human rights. The UN also has an important role in protecting the human rights of state members and other beneficiary states. The definitions of human rights are basic freedom for all humans regarding their right from life to death. There are various bodies and programs that have been established and conducted, such as UNICEF. Their effort in executing their responsibility show that this organization is very committed to promote and securing human rights. As an example, the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees is the agency that is being established by the United Nations. The functions of this agency are to provide protection to refugees and to seek a durable solution for them in cooperation with the government. Through their program, UNHCR also initiates refugees resettlement that function as a medium to find a new state for refugees to stay. In 2018, 27 countries around the world accepted almost 55,700 refugees for resettlement. Next, we move to the third function of UN. Facilitate state members in socio-economic growth. The function of UN in facilitating states in socio-economic growth is through helping and facilitate states, especially in rural areas of developing states, to achieve socio-economic growth. Therefore, the establishment of the United Nations Department of Economic and Social Affairs is regarded as a very important element to fulfill their duty. UNDESA work closely with leaders and all the agencies involved in achieving their aim. United Nations Development Programme give attention to all levels of society in the states. This action is to form a state that can withstand any threat from other countries or any sort of crisis that can endanger the society sovereignty.
Now, I will explain challenges confronting the United Nations in executing its roles and responsible. First is inadequate financial resources. United Nations is funded in two ways, through mandatory payments and voluntary contribution. Mandatory payment is the annual contribution of the members. It is specified the amount of how much a member has to pay with the country's rate based on its ability to pay. Currently, United States is the largest contributors with providing some 22% of the organization's total budget. The annual contribution is to help fund United Nations' regular budget. It is to cover administrative costs, programs, and peacekeeping operation. However, the bills are often delayed, and as a result, that leads to financial and budgeting problems. By the end of May 2020, the organization was facing a deficit of 492 million US dollar. And in June, UN Secretary General informed the budget overseers at the Fifth Committee at the UN faced catastrophe in terms of reputation and its ability to operate if payrolls and supplies were not covered. Voluntary contribution is not obligatory. The sources are several non-state organizations that contribute to the UN. They include European Commission, which committed $2.7 billion in 2017, and the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, which volunteered $300 million. The second challenge that United Nations have to confront is there are no permanent standing of army for peacekeeping mission. Peacekeeping operation is the main instrument to stabilize the situation and maintain peace. The UN has no standing army or police force on its own. Their personnel are from the UN's member states. The personnel work as peacekeeper in peacekeeping missions around the world, and they are members of their own national service first, and then seconded to work with the UN. Any government has a perfect right not to send its troops into disagreeable and dangerous situation, which is more often than not what the UN has to deal with. Furthermore, the UN can only deploy military personnel when there is UN Security Council resolution authorizing them to do so. It takes time to send personnel to the requested mission. It could take more than 6 months to go through all the procedure and preparation. In 1994, UN have established standby arrangement as standing emergency service. At that time, there were more than 20 standby arrangements with government for the provision of peacekeeping forces. However, not one could be activated successfully when the Security Council blatantly decided that something ought to be done about the Rwandan genocide. They weren't ready and properly trained. In early 2000, Emergency Peace Service proposal has been proposed. They aim to empower the UN to take timely and effectively action matters related to international peace and security, and none of them has been implemented successfully. The third United Nations challenge is the exploitation of veto power by the Big Five. Veto power is the power to oppose a decision and cast vote against it. The United Nations Security Council consists of 15 members. 10 of them are elected and renewed annually. The other 5 members is the permanent members, or so-called the Big Five, or P5. The Big Five are China, the United States, Russia, France, and United Kingdom. Veto power allows P5 member to block any decision made by the Security Council. Historically, veto power is a reward for countries of taking burden of world war. At first, veto prevents the Security Council from taking action on many important matters. But today, the power is used for their own country's interest. It is misused as legal and political corruption in the organization. In the post-Cold War era, the US has used the veto more times than the other members of the Council combined, and often in obviously cynical ways. In 2002, the US threatened to veto a routine resolution extending the mandate of peacekeeping force in Bosnia until it secured special consensus of its troops which would put them beyond reach of the International Criminal Court. The US admitted it was in favor of extension of the Bosnian mandates, but their action bullied the Council into submitting to its demands on largely unrelated issues. This privilege caused the UN to fail representing the international society well. In conclusion, the United Nations has been in existence for nearly 75 years. Since 1945 until today, the UN plays an important role in the global community. The organization and its agencies have been contributing to maintain harmonization among the members. UN have helped develop its members in extent of security and peacekeeping, human rights, politics, socio-economic, and environment. The UN is still relevant in this globalized world. The organization have helped state members settle disputes in a peaceful and an effective way. Alongside, the relevancy of UN shows in the work and achievement of its agencies in various sectors. Furthermore, UN facilitate its members in order to achieve socio-economic growth, and their contribution can be seen in many contexts. Although there will always be challenges to overcome, the world evolves, new challenges will emerge. So does problems and issues. One of the major challenges in the use of veto power. Other challenges are related to the organization financial and funding issues, and the lack of human resources as standing army for peacekeeping. Overall, there are still a lot of issues to cope and goals to achieve, but UN is important to keep peace and maintain stabilization in the international society.